Welcome to Skate World. In this series, I talk to local skateboarders and what they bring to community, how they've seen the community grow and be nurtured in the years that they've been skateboarding, and also talking specifically about the local skate parks, and one in particular, Kenora Courts. Kenora Courts started around 2 years ago. A driven space in Edmonton, a DIY skate park that is welcoming to all. Community members saw an unused space and saw an opportunity to create something there, create something for the whole broader community. So in this series, I talk to the incredible community members who have had skateboarding mean so much to them, and they in turn have offered so much back to the community. So let's take a look at the DIY skate park that is Kenora Courts, and in general, what skateboarders have to say about Edmonton, the growing community here. And I hope that listeners find these stories in Skate World that they really show the growing inclusivity and growing nurturing of different people, different styles. Edmonton is becoming a really special place for skateboarding now. There's community groups that bring women and LGBTQ+ riders together. The interviews will also highlight the exploration of the world of skate culture and the beautiful emblem of friendship, identity, and community that it actively provides. So in this series, I talk to people and I specifically look at Kenora Courts. No matter your skill level, your ability, or your connection with skateboarding, whether you've been skating since the 90s, whether you just picked up a board yesterday, whether you're just admiring the skate photography and community gatherings that happen at these skate parks, everyone's story is important. And I hope that Skate World shows that. So let's jump into today's story.
My name is Denise Biziaev. So Tiger Skate Club was founded in 2019, and that started as a very grassroots community club, which it still is, but it has grown monumentally. It's an all girls and all women skateboard club. However, it's also grown to also welcome our non-binary friends.
Talk about skateboarding in your youth, when you first got on a board, and where did it go from there?
Good question. So I started skating when I was 12. And it was cut pretty short though, because I was one of the very few girls that would skate and that did skate at my school. But I got bullied a lot. I got bullied so much in the schoolyard. Actually, this schoolyard is exactly where I got bullied at Holy Cross School, where I would actually get swarmed by girls in the yard, and they'd say things like, hey, if you prove that you're a skateboarder and if you actually skate, then do an ollie. So imagine having like 10 girls surrounding you telling you that if you are a skater, to prove it by doing an ollie, which I never entertained, but still that was enough to put a really sour taste in your mouth. But thankfully my journey of skateboarding didn't stop there permanently. So even though I quit publicly skating at the age of 15, I actually picked it back up many years afterwards. And so the cool thing about returning was that I'm a better skater now than I ever was back then, and just the timing was right. So I returned to skating later into adulthood. Now I work for a skate park design and building firm, New Line Skate Parks, and I do contract work for Canada Skateboard as well. So you just never really know. You can do something in your childhood and it still be a dream of yours. So it's really nice now to be able to pursue that. And then it's also allowed me opportunities to co-found a skateboarding club called Tiger Skate Club here in Edmonton.
Congratulations on the new job too. I saw that posting. That seems really good and just builds on what you're doing in the community and what you're creating. So you mentioned Tiger Skate. So talk about Tiger Skate Club. When did it start? How did it start? And how has it grown?
So Tiger Skate Club was founded in 2019. It started off as a grassroots community club for girls and women that would welcome people to join them whenever they were able to for a weekend meetup. So we'd put the post out, we'd say, hey, this is the skate park that we're going to be meeting at this time. Everybody is welcome if you identify as a girl or a woman or non-binary folks. So from there, now we are what we are 5 years later, with being a membership base of 75 people actually, but yeah, happily welcoming our friends from the 2S LGBTQI+ community. And it's been phenomenal to see the amount of growth that's taken place. So we're a group that's also affiliated and helped out by Canada Skateboard as well. So we do have an affiliation there, and that they're very supportive of our club. But we also have so much support from our local skate shops and skate community here in Edmonton, which we're so thankful for, because we have such an amazing skate community. So above all things, we're just really glad to have grown into what we are now, being supported by our local community.
Right now we're at Kenora Courts, and it's a beautiful night, seeing the community that's come together and just seeing all these faces. I'm like, this is awesome. This is really cool.
Yeah.
What you've built and put together.
Yeah, and tonight's really special because it's our first 18 plus session that's here at Kenora. So one of the things that we do is, like, on the weekends we have an all ages gathering where people can come and join us for a meetup in the morning. But we also have these offshoot meetups too. So this one happens to be the 18 plus session, and then we also started offering a 25 plus beginner session, which has been really cool to see, where 90% of the people that showed up to our very first session for 25 plus beginners, 90% of them we've never met before, and I'd probably say 75% of those people are very new to skateboarding. But it was phenomenal to have all 32 of us hanging out together at the skate park.
Community is important. So what would you say to encapsulate all that? What's important about community, building community, and especially in the world of skateboarding? So like you said, in your youth you started, it was hard to feel like you could continue it, and like now how there's the beauty of communities. What would you say is the importance of community and building that?
Honestly, community is essential. And I think having these opportunities to gather together and be in community together is stuff that we could have used when we were younger. So I feel like that's one of the things that we value so much about the Tigers, is that we get to be that club that we wish we had when we were younger. I would say second to that, like, relationship building. Relationships are everything. So if you build relationship and conscious efforts to build relationship with other people, it makes the skate community all that much more welcoming, which it hasn't always been. So that part's been really cool. And I think I should clarify to say it hasn't always been like that for everybody. So not everybody's experience was as welcoming, but from what I have heard way back in the day too, there was a really big thriving skate community. I just wasn't able to be a part of that and to access it at that time. So, but community is everything, and I think that's where these initiatives to bring people together, whether it's by an event or whether it's by a location or whether it's by groups or small pockets of people that just want to hang out and skate, it just makes skating that much more accessible too, and a longer term endeavor for people as well. Because we know that you can start something when you're really young, but unless you have that community of support around you to help keep you going, it's really easy to fall off that train, and then to get back up then tends to be even harder into adulthood, for sure.
And what would you say is the importance of spaces like Kenora Courts? You've been here from the start, like when 2020, it's 2021?
Yeah, I believe 2021, I think.
Started. So yeah, the importance of the space, inviting people to this space, seeing it grow and what it does for the neighborhood.
Well, I think it reminds people that there's so much that's possible. So you could drive by this place and you could easily overlook it, but then when you drive by and you see like 25 people here, it kind of makes you wonder, like, oh, like, what's so special about that place? So then when you come, you end up like feeling the vibe in addition to seeing it. So that's what makes Kenora super special. The other thing too is, like, you don't have to be an amazing skater to be here. So it's very welcoming in that respect as well. But it then becomes a hub that's outside of your typical concrete skate park. And I say that being someone who works for a skate park builder, there is something really special about grassroots community initiatives that help to make the skate scene thrive and continue on in the city.
This almost seems like a space that could have like never happened, sort of. When Nick describes it, like just coming here and having this vision, cleaning the weeds with a Thrasher hoodie, and then slowly building it. Such a great story. And I'll always remember one time there was like a big meet here, and just guy in the neighborhood walked by with his dog and stopped, like, I've never seen so many people using the space. This is incredible.
Yeah. Well, and frankly, I'd love to see initiatives like this happen in more areas within the city, just because it is such an efficient use of the space. I mean, if you think about it, like, I grew up going to the school right behind here, and we never had this at our disposal. Just offering a space like this, it really shows what you can do within the community. And it also, in a way, proves to people that skaters aren't always the type to give places a bad rap. You do then also, by your actions, actually get to communicate about how there is such a positive impact of skateboarding on the community. So in a way, it's kind of like putting that seal on things too, to say, hey, we're not all bad people. That stereotype has been carried on for decades. It's also really cool to see younger kids running or walking or riding their bikes past this place, because again, it just reiterates that anything is possible and you can do anything with the space that you're given, as long as you have the passion for it and the guts and confidence to move forward with that, right?
So you said, well, your recent position, and I think you've always traveled or experienced skate culture in other places, or definitely in the last few years, and even with the ambush that's Tiger Skate runs. Can you talk about your experience traveling, what you see in other cities, and what's great about Edmonton and community spaces like Kenora and just our overall skate culture here?
I am really thankful that I do have the opportunity to skate in many different places. And I think one of the things that stands out about Edmonton is that you kind of have to be here to understand what our skate culture is like. It's very difficult to actually describe it, I find anyways. Like, Edmonton has been so unique in its own right. So comparing our skate scene with another city or another town is near impossible in so many ways. But one of the things that I've really appreciated about the skate scene here is that it is so unique and everybody brings so many different things to it. There's always, these things that you want to see happen, but I think just Edmonton is unique in its own right, that to change it would almost be not necessary, I think, in a way. Like, I think growing it, for sure, there's naturally going to be ebbs and flows of changes along the way. But yeah, you can go to Montreal and you can go skate the O, which is gnarly in its own right, and I've done that, and that's madness. Like, that transition is wild. But yeah, having the opportunity to go and skate throughout BC, having to go out east and skate there too. I'll be heading out to Akwesasne, a nation outside of Cornwall and near Ottawa, next week as well. So I'm looking forward to skating that skate park out there. But I have a really hard time describing how unique Edmonton is. Like, I'm so short of words. I feel like I'm just giving you fluff at this point.
No, that's great.
But yeah, given like the different places that I've skated, I've been to Venice, I've skated those bowls, I've gone and throughout California and skated around there too, but nothing feels like home. And then when you have a place like Kenora like this, it's gnarly in its own right, but it's a really beautiful gathering place too as well for the skate communities.
And would you say you have a favorite skate obstacle at Kenora, a DIY piece, either from the very start or how it looks now?
That is a really good question. Given that I am mostly a transition rider, I do like, it's hard to pinpoint one single one. I do really enjoy the street features here, so many of them, because it forces me to think outside of the box. So when you're so used to skating certain terrain for so long, and then you come to a place like Kenora, which almost always feels like it's out of my wheelhouse, it's a good thing because it forces me to be creative. So I can't really say that I can narrow it down to one single thing. Ramps and bowls, that's usually where you'll find me skating the most. But this year I've actually made it a point to be in the bowls less. So I really enjoy that, and I love the speed of it. But coming here, I'm forced to do things that are so unnatural for me. But I think that's what I really like about Kenora as well. Sometimes it can be regarded as a really hard place to skate, but it's well worth it. And all the slams are worth it too.
Is there anything else you want to say, or anything else that you wish, your dream for the future of Kenora, that you would love to see be brought here?
Yeah, I think I would love to keep seeing people pour into it and just take such good care of it that it can last for a really long time. We have amazing skate community members who have put this park together and built these incredible features, and who just believe in having an amazing place like this. And so I feel like if we can get that kind of excitement from the greater community, that would be really, really wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to see this place grow. I'd love to see it have new poured concrete, but at the same time I don't at the same time, because all the cracks, all the features as they are make this place what it is.
And the cracks are surprisingly relatively smooth. I think the first time I came here, I was like,
Yeah.
oh no. And me as a new skater, like, oh, I would just fall in those cracks and you kind of just go over it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Everything that's here, cracks and like broken pieces and all, make this park what it is, but it actually makes you a stronger skater. Because when you're skating in a skate park, sure, you know, you've got these big features, you've got lots of these features, it's great, but all the strength and like the perseverance that you get from skating a place that would be perceived as pretty janky or difficult to ride strengthens you for everywhere else.
Strengthens community and strengthens the individual riders.
Totally. Strengthens community and strengthens the riders, that's for sure.
So anything else you want to add to wrap up?
Oh, maybe one thing that I'll say is it's actually been really cool to watch the greater community, like skate community, come together. Like in a time where it kind of felt like women were on the outs of action sports and skateboarding in specific. Yeah, it's so welcoming now. So it's been pretty incredible to see how many people we get out to a meetup on any given weekend or any given weeknight that we decide to host a meet. But to see the greater community supportive of the Tigers is pretty rad.
Should we wrap up and get in this group pic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Denise.
Thanks, Lexi. I appreciate you.
I hope these Skate World interviews serve as an inspiration point of how you can get involved in your community, have a great idea, small or big, and just take the steps to make it happen. Again, whether you've been skateboarding for a day or many, many years, your story is very important, and thank you to everyone who shared. Thank you to the Edmonton Heritage Council for supporting this podcast series. Skate World looks at a local DIY skate park that is very important in the community. Thank you for realizing these stories are important to tell. I hope this series offers you creativity, inspiration, and a sense of community connection.